Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome to the Tuesday KVJ After the Show podcast. We get Bird at least joining us from home today, or no? Never mind, we do not. I don't think so. I'm not sure if he's there. He's at home, either way.
Yes, he'll be back tomorrow. We're pretty confident that he does not have COVID. He wasn't feeling so well on Monday, and we didn't want to be the spreaders. So just out of an abundance of caution, we said, hey, go get a test. But then sure enough, on Monday, they weren't doing any testing.
Yeah, that's kind of a note that if you are going to feel a little bit ill, watch coming back on the weekend on a Monday. Because if you actually do want to go to work, it's I've noticed that too, where it is tough to get those tests on a Monday. I think a lot of times they're closed. I think even on some weekend days too.
Okay.
Yeah,
so if you can, go ahead and get the COVID on a Tuesday through Friday.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Don't catch it on the weekend. Don't catch it on a Monday.
Yeah.
Wait till Tuesday. Then lick your friend with COVID.
Yeah, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do COVID.
Yes. And we've been through it, so you can take our advice.
However, Donald Trump did it, that's the way to do COVID. That's it. In and out, baby, right?
I mean, he got the best of the treatments, though. I mean, he is the president. He gets the best of everything. So, I mean, it felt like he was still trying to catch his breath, though, on the steps last night.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be.
People were really analyzing that. Boy, it's amazing the breakdown that they were doing on that.
Of course, he got the best medical care possible. Are you mad at him for getting the best medical care? That makes no sense. Of course he got it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's completely battled COVID because he was breathing very strained as he tried to say, that he felt better than he did 20 years ago.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Some people, even the doctors, boy, there's so much analysis that was going into it last night on TV. And somebody did break down. They said, here was a timeline of Herman Cain talking about how he felt where he went to the event. And then on this day, he's like, yeah, I'm rebounding. And he put out that message, and 3 days later, he was dead. So, yeah, that's the crazy thing about it.
I don't think they're going to let the president die. If he starts to take a turn, they will take him right back to Walter Reed.
I imagine they're watching him like a hawk. They probably have got, I think there's a monitor. I've seen that online where you can actually put it on your finger and it'll let you know your oxygen levels.
I had to purchase one for my friend that was battling COVID, and they were very hard to find at the time. You put it right on your index finger, and it tells you your blood oxygen level. And if it drops below a certain point, your ass needs to go to the hospital.
Yes. So, yeah, you got to check that out. But I'm sure that they're all over it. But, it can turn quick.
They were showing like a diagram, and I found this fascinating, of the inside of the White House and saying like, okay, here's this, here's that. There's a whole entire medical suite inside the White House. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised. I haven't seen anything like it, but it doesn't shock me a bit. I would not even be surprised if they have the capacity to do surgery inside of the White House. Like, let's say that something happened and it's just quicker to say, get him to the White House and let's just do it there. Because I think the hospital you went to, which I think is the closest, I think that's still like a 33 or 35-minute drive, even with, closing down the streets and the president's coming through. That's a half hour. So, imagine if something like that happened, and we've had situations with presidents where they need medical attention immediately.
Yeah, they showed it. It was like a whole 3-room suite with different parts of it.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to see that that's already in place. So that's where they were speculating that he was going to spend the rest of his COVID battle in quarantine in that medical suite in the White House.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And it's very fascinating. If you've ever seen a breakdown, I watched a special where they went through everything on Air Force One and then went through the president's limo. and what it is piece by piece. And, there are certain things, too, where I don't think they'll the secrets that they keep, they won't let you know the weight of that limo because they don't want people, apparently,
to figure out how to flip it.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, so they just say it's massively heavy. It's probably like the weight of a tank, but they won't release certain details. And I think they even have that with the Air Force One. In fact, they have the Air Force One, the jet that they have, there's two of them. There's twins. And they say that you can't even tell. The president may get off of one of them and he thinks he's getting on the exact same plane because when they disembark the plane, everybody's on there, they go through and they put everything in the exact same place on the other plane as they had it. So if you had your coffee cup with the handle facing at a 45-degree angle towards the window, they would put it in the other Air Force One on the exact same spot on the desk facing that way.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I was just like, all those little ins and outs.
When you leave the presidency, it must be like having the coolest setup snatched away from you. I bet you get pretty spoiled with the white glove, like amazing. Every I's dotted, every T is crossed. Everything's taken care of for you, and everything is so
the way they pamper you.
Pristine and perfect and pampered and catered to. And when you leave the presidency, I wonder if that's a big, like a jolt to the system and presidents fall into the baby blues.
I wondered if that were the case because, what is actually in my mind is Nicolas Cage. And the reason why I think about this, do you remember a movie that Nicolas Cage did? And it actually, if you want to go back and find when Nicolas Cage was humming and doing great movies, it was where he was a Secret Service officer. Was it Regarding Tess? Was that the name of the movie? And he was a Secret Service officer that was taking care of a former first lady. And she did not like the Secret Service detail that was still around her. She just wanted to be left alone and live like a normal person. But he had to watch her. And the whole thing is, I think at the end, like she gets kidnapped. And
Guarding Tess?
Maybe it is, yes. There you
With
go.
Shirley,
Guarding Tess.
Shirley
yes.
MacLaine and Nicolas Cage.
Yes, Guarding Tess from 1994. That was in, Nicolas Cage was right there in the heart of, his great part of his career. It is a solid movie because the whole thing is she's just kind of crotchety and resistant. And he's just trying to be nice to her. And at the end, there's a bond that is formed between the two. And then she literally gets like kidnapped or something and he has to go and try to rescue her kind of thing. But that's where I wondered where if you had the Secret Service, how do you feel about it? Because I think, if you're president, first lady, it's with you the rest of your life. Are you just like, gosh, I'm so annoyed by this? Or are you like going, this is still one of the coolest things ever? Or is it only cool to have when you're president? Because after you're president now, it's just annoying because they don't do all the kind of pampering. They just, require you to.
I would love it forever because it seems like they take care of many details that I don't want to drive myself. I don't want to have to watch to cross the road. I want some guy doing all that for me. It sounds amazing. Bring on the Secret Service for life. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, do they do all that kind of pampering that you're thinking of, or is it just that they are there to make sure that you're safe and say, no, you get your own damn food? Like, I'm not.
It's not as nice
I'm
as
not a maid.
When you're the president, it is red carpet, white glove, amazing, incredible, every detail, pampered, spoiled, everything. I think when you leave office, it's a step down. You definitely still get taken care of on certain levels, but you don't get it like the president gets it.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, just watch the dance, the orchestrated dance around our presidents and all of the wheels that are moving to make things smooth and painless and easy and awesome for this one person to navigate the world.
Yeah, I think
it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'd
to
be
watch.
pretty interesting to see the ins and outs of that. And I was reading an article today, I think it was Wall Street Journal, about the president's health, because that was the debate. They're trying to break it down, and they're looking at every breath that the president was taking last night. They were. And they're like, oh, he's wheezing. Oh, he took his mask off. I mean, it was amazing how they were just breaking down frame by frame of everything that had to do with the president, because they're trying to get insight as to, I mean, did he really have coronavirus? Did he not have coronavirus? Why after 3 days is he back? Is he contagious? Is he this, that? And they had all kinds of medical experts trying to figure out what's going on with this guy. And the Wall Street Journal today was saying, look, this isn't the first time this has happened with the president, and you probably won't know the truth. Maybe ever, if not probably for 10, 20, 30 years, where finally somebody after Trump is dead is like going, here's really what happened in that whole thing where the president caught COVID during a pandemic. This is what went on. And right now, you don't really know what the truth is. You know, they were talking about, FDR, how he was hiding the fact that, he had, his ailments, that he had him. He was in a wheelchair. He was hiding all that. Was it polio or something like that he had? And eventually, he was hiding from the American public what it was that eventually killed him.
Oh, wow.
And in office. So, that is pretty typical. And they started kind of going down the list of all these things that presidents hid. JFK was hiding something that he had, some disease that, the public never knew about.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yes.
I like the juiciness.
Yeah.
This has kind of turned into the presidential dirt of the day.
Presidential dirt of the day. Yeah, they don't tell you. They hide all that kind of stuff.
This is the juicy stuff I like. I mean, don't tell me about like bills and stuff that have to pass in the Senate.
Right.
Snorefest. Tell me about the medical things they've hidden from the public to appear stronger than they actually are.
All the little scandals, all the ins and outs. I mean, if they really would tell you, and they don't for a lot of it, for national security and for embarrassments, and I'm sure it's, political parties trying to maintain the upper hand. But man, yeah, if you could just get your hands on all those secrets, what we do know is already fascinating.
They say what killed FDR was a cerebral hemorrhage. Is that the truth?
Yeah, I think it was what it said in the Wall Street Journal, just in the blip that I had read, and I'm not too privy on the health of FDR and what exactly did kill him, but I think it was a byproduct of what the disease had that he was hiding from the American public, is what the journal was saying.
Scandalous.
Yeah, but I think you knew that he, towards the end.
I mean, he was in a wheelchair. Unless you're dumb, you can kind of figure something's not perfect.
Yeah, and I think he really would do a lot to hide that. Like, you would never really see him. He wouldn't come wheeling himself out. They would always do the photo ops, because then it wasn't like you had cameras like you do now. So any photo op with FDR, they would make sure he was in a situation where he's already sitting.
Yeah, I see a lot of pictures, and there's a lot of other dudes around him, and they're sitting too.
Yeah.
Nobody's standing. He's always flanked by a guy on his right in a chair and a guy on his left in a chair.
Yeah, so they would do that. They would,
Interesting.
They would, set it all up so that's how it looked, so that people weren't like, oh, look at the president, he's in a wheelchair, and like the American public had really no idea.
I'm fascinated by that.
It is crazy, crazy stuff. And it's only going to be more interesting. I don't think, have given a ruling yet on the next debate, which is scheduled for Miami on the 15th. Now, I looked at that. I'm like, okay, well, the president's is going to have to, because I remember we were looking at that, and it was the 2nd, I think, on Friday, right? When we looked at that and said, okay, it would be 2 weeks, would be the 16th, the day after the 15th. So it's supposed to be Thursday the 15th at the Adrian R. Center. And I'm like, there's no way they would have to at least postpone it, because you'd have to quarantine to the 16th. But after seeing what they've done so far, and they haven't announced that they're even going to postpone it or change it or anything. I mean, who knows? They might be doing this damn thing still on the 15th.
They already went to Biden. They said, hey, if he wants to go on the 15th, are you go time on the 15th? And Biden said, I'm go if the medical professionals say we are go. And so I guess it's just going to be up to those medical professionals, whoever they are. Are they going to administer more COVID tests to the president? Does he have to get a couple negs under his belt?
I don't know.
My girlfriend down the street who had the coronavirus swears that you're not contagious anymore after 10 days.
Okay.
That's what she said.
All right.
She's like, after 10 days, you're not contagious anymore. No one needs to worry about catching it. And I was like, are you sure? I thought I heard 14, but I don't know. You seem kind of mad about it. And
because I'm yelling. I'm sorry. This ain't like a political statement. If somebody needs to worry about catching it, it'd be Biden. I mean,
thank you.
I mean, if I heard him, I'd be going, I mean, come on, dude. You see me, right?
Or usually the old ass moderator.
Right. I'm like 77,
that guy's
dog.
never a spring chicken either.
There's a lot of old ass people around here.
Everybody needs to be nervous. Where's
Right.
that karaoke shower?
Yeah.
Can we do it in that?
Well, they're doing the vice presidential debate tomorrow night, and they're putting up like plexiglass between them, which somebody broke that down. They're like, well, that does nothing. But they're doing that, I guess, to make everything look good. You know what is so dumb? I don't know if you're watching much of the NFL, but they have now started to do the screenshots where, because nobody wants to get blasted for putting all these anchors close together. Have you noticed even the news, if you're watching sports,
Everybody's separated.
everybody's like, 6 or 10 feet away or whatever. And so people started taking photos where they have like these sports commentators like 10 or 12 feet apart. And then they say cut, and then they go over and they hug each other without masks and are doing high fives. I'm like, what a dumb charade we're just putting on. The errors that we put on so that we don't get blasted for breaking, this COVID protocol that we're all supposed to maintain because you're a terrible person if you do. And they're like, it's just so much of it's silly.
It's weird, right?
It's
like
at least weird.
we're putting out like this one image and it's not real.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what are we doing?
If not silly, yeah. So who knows what's going to happen with that? But it's just fascinating to watch on a day by day. Something else keeping an eye on, I'm sure you are too, is this tropical storm Delta. Is this Delta because we've run out of names? Is that why we're there?
Yeah, we're in the Greek alphabet because normally we'd be at half the names that we are at now. We've doubled the average.
Yeah.
And we're in the Greek alphabet at D.
Dang.
And this one already right now, I mean, it's just getting kicked up. It's a Cat 2 now. So they're worried that while it grows and grows and heads right towards the same basic area that all these storms have gone from, the Texas coast to the Florida panhandle and everything in between, it's all been rocked multiple times.
Yeah, how many have they had? Because I remember after the last storm, and I haven't kept track of the names, and I imagine a lot of people, if you're not getting hit by hurricanes, and I don't even remember the ones that hit us a lot of times.
Right.
But I do remember in that area, there was a part of Louisiana, and they were just saying that we're not going to move back. Like our homes got destroyed, and we're out because we're just getting hit too often that it doesn't make sense for us. And we don't have the kind of money to build hurricane reinforced type houses to deal with what we're getting hit with.
I mean, right now, the track that they have it going is just over New Orleans. So you're talking about that same area, Grand Isle, the most southern tip of Louisiana that's just most vulnerable. The only good thing is, here we are on Tuesday. They don't expect this thing to hit till Saturday. And by watching these things, usually if you're in the cone on Tuesday and then it hits on Saturday, chances are the cone will shift east or west or whatever it's going to do. And so maybe that's the good news. In New Orleans, you're dead center of the cone right now, but maybe by Saturday it'll move.
Okay, that's just hopeful. Did I see a still shot that made it look like it could be up to a 3 by the time it hits?
I did see that as well. And, once again, you don't know, but they're already starting to prepare. So I get those alerts on my phone as if I live in New Orleans just because I like to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they've already started telling people, okay, make your preparations, keep an eye on this thing. I've got friends in Lake Charles that are just to the west of New Orleans. They're actually closer to Texas than New Orleans. But my friend was out of power for 20 days from Hurricane Laura.
Dang.
20 days. And they just got their power back on, and they are just scared again.
And this is how many storms have come over? Somebody just put 6. Is that right? Have they had 6 storms they've had to deal with?
It feels
That's what
like
Carrie was saying in the chat room. I don't know if that means that area, but if I'm living anywhere and we get, what do we have that one year? 3?
we had 3 and it rocked our world.
If we would have had 6, I think I would really start to reconsider where I lived.
When you talk about the area, the Gulf Coast, the Florida Panhandle to Texas, I think they've probably got about 6 of them. That does sound right, Carrie.
That's crazy. Yeah, at what point do you say, all right, I've had enough? I know this is a generational home, but we getting the hell out of here.
A lot of people said that.
Wow. They're just all going up that way, huh?
It's a crazy time. So pray for the people in the Gulf Coast right now. They are looking like they're going to get another hit somewhere between Texas and the Panhandle again.
Dang. Okay. Well, there you go. Did you ever figure out what had happened? I know yesterday you were talking about Magnolia wasn't in bed at midnight, and she was trying to say that she was. Did you figure out what was going on there? Because you thought that maybe she had some friends over and was running around.
She insists that her friends left and that she was studying on FaceTime with her friend, and she's sticking to her story. I'm sticking to my mom radar. And I can tell by the footprints on the stairs, just by the heavy of the foot.
Wow.
I know what her gait is. You know what somebody's gait is? I can close my eyes and I can tell you if it's Kevin
I can do that
or
too.
Jason.
Yeah, because if you're like us, you go to bed when everybody else is up. And so I hear people walking in the house, and I will know if that is either my wife, my mother-in-law, or my son.
It's just
I can
something.
tell.
It's a sense you develop.
People walk different ways.
They do, and I could tell that was not her footsteps on my staircase. First of all, these stairs kind of have like areas where if you hit them, they make noise.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you didn't have friends over way past when I told you you could.
What time are friends supposed to leave?
Friends were supposed to leave at 9:30. I said shut the party down at 9:30. I was in bed at 9, and I still heard people right around midnight.
Okay, so if people stay over at midnight, does she get a punishment like you say, okay, since you didn't listen to me, that now when I go to bed, everybody's got to get out of the house? Because it's
Yes.
only 30 minutes. Is that like a new rule now?
Well, now I told her she can't be trusted. You know, I trusted her. I said the party ends at 9:30, and then I went to bed. And then you obviously had friends over past 9:30, and I had to tell you that you had to take it downstairs in the den because I didn't want all those people in your bedroom. It was just weird. It was weird. And I don't, one of her friends is a boy, and I keep asking her, is there any romance going on here between you and this boy?
Oh, okay.
And she keeps saying, no, we're just friends. We're just friends. But there's no boys up in the bedroom, especially in the evening hours. I'm not cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cool with it. I'm never going to be cool with it.
Well, when you're not able to keep an eye on what's going on, you're right. And things could happen, and then...
And she knows this. My thing is, if I get up out of bed to get all mad and yell at you, I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. And then I've ruined my whole day the following day. And it just sets me into a chain of bad events for this job and the rest of the things I have to do. Like, I can't function on no sleep. And if I get up and yell at you, I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. So in that respect, she knows I'm not going to get up and come yell at her unless it's egregious, unless like the cops are there or something.
Yeah.
Then I will have to get up.
Right. Zach wanted to know, is her punishment a new car?
No, Zach, it's not. They're so funny. We're all amused.
He's got the hashtag Be Like Denny's.
Amen. I don't know what that means.
Be like Denny's.
Just be peaceful and not give
Yeah,
a shit?
I think so. Just be chill.
I'm sorry.
Hashtag Be Like Denny's.
I cannot be chill about, child rearing in these pivotal years right now.
Yeah, you're high strung.
I'm
Do
just
you feel like you're strung right, or are you too high strung?
Who knows? I'm just trying not to be a grandma over here.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Got to keep that thing locked down, Virginia.
I mean, who knows if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong? I mean, only time will tell. But I can only do my best in every given situation. And as every parent out there does, we try, and sometimes we make mistakes.
Sure.
Thanks for pointing them out, Zach.
Oh, that's what they do. He's there to let you know.
Lippy ass
remind
Zach.
you.
Always got something to say. Let me see your kid, Zach. Your kid's probably smoking weed behind kindergarten.
He's seems like a young dude.
Oh, Zach has no kids. That's even better when people with no kids comment on how you should raise yours.
Talking the weed game, this is probably something that'll, well, this would be great if Denny's can only get this. Common, Craig Robinson, Andy Samberg, they have got a new movie coming out called Super High. And it's about a strain of weed that gives you superpowers.
That's awesome.
That's a pretty good concept.
I would totally watch that.
you imagine Denny's having... He does. I mean, his superpower, honestly, is that he can tell other people are high.
And he's super intelligent.
Yeah, he is.
He breaks the mold of what you think of like a pothead. Like, he's on it.
Smart dude. I got some new show stuff going on. Did you ever watch that show Glow? Was that the roller derby one that they had on Netflix?
Glow, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling?
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
So Glow back in the day, I don't know what the revamp was. I didn't watch that. But back in the day, this was the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
I think that probably is it. Yeah, I think somebody in my family was watching it. I never got into it. But it's one of those things where Netflix is real squirrely because they had announced that they were going to renew it for a 4th season, and then they canceled it after they did that.
Damn.
They're like, oh, you're renewed. Nope, canceled. Wait, what?
That's messing with the Glow emotions.
Absolutely. They probably had a big party. They probably got out the champagne. They're probably like, yeah, I mean, because that's the one thing I hear it's so tough about being an actor is that you're always unemployed. And that's how they look at it. You don't know where your next job is coming from. And so when you get another season, you're like going, okay.
Let's do this.
This is great. I have to look for a job right now. And then they're like, nope, never mind.
Poor Glow girls.
Yeah, that is crazy. And they're doing another show. Are you watching Apple TV at all?
I don't have Apple TV.
Yeah, my daughter had said something about a show on Apple TV. And if I have it, I didn't know I did. And she was watching something on it. I'm like, well, what is on Apple TV?
Can I watch Apple TV on my Apple phone?
I don't think so. Now, I have an Apple TV thing, but I don't know if I have to subscribe to something else. I'm really kind of ignorant on the whole Apple TV thing. But they're going to be doing a Snoopy show. It's going to be like a Peanuts cartoon called The Snoopy Show. So there you go. That's going to be launching in February. So who knows? Got an email here from Jennifer, and she said, law school by exam. I was listening to yesterday's podcast, and I want to give a little bit more insight on real-world experience versus a law school. I was a paralegal for many years prior to entering law school. We were talking about, can you just maybe start testing into some of these professions
without going to years and years of law school, college?
Said I was doing entry-level attorney work, and I felt I had a good grasp of the law, so that the law school would be very easy. I figured I could rely on my real-world experiences and didn't study as hard. I got my ass handed to me in my first semester. Looking back, I wish I would have paid more attention to my first-year classes. Last school is not just about watching videos and reading. You have to take classes and learn areas of law that you don't necessarily like to do. So anyway, she said, I do think that ensuring that students are required to meet minimum criteria to pass the bar exam is a fairer way to provide access to all than just who can afford private tutors to take standardized testing separately. Think about how many parents complain that children who have access to private tutors do better on the ACT and SAT.
It's true.
And students who do not have that access now apply that to law school. Yeah, I mean, my concept on it was they would be there if you needed them, but you would have enough online that you would, you don't necessarily need to. It's not a prerequisite. Just finding a way to make education more affordable, more accessible. And anytime somebody really talks or we have any discussion about colleges and universities now, the word scam is always thrown out, whether it be the books or whether it be the housing or whether it be the exorbitant price of the education and how they've jacked up that price. People are just always like, it feels very scammy.
Well, I am really hoping that the bubble bursts. So, Mags is 15. She's talking about she wants to go to NYU. I'm looking at my bank balance going, you ain't going to NYU. So when is the bubble going to burst on all of these college tuitions? Like NYU, I think wanted I looked a year ago, they wanted $45,000 a semester.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you out of your mind? Mm-hmm. What am I supposed to do? Get 2 part-time jobs on top of the full-time job to pay for that?
Yeah. Oh, well, and I think this is it. I mean, I think that the market is ripe for somebody to come up with I think society, one, needs it. I think that we need to have more affordable education. And I think that there are a lot of people that have amazing intellect and abilities that may struggle in some of these. And I think that we do need to balance things out a little bit more. And so, yeah, I joked about YouTube University. She said, well, let's just apply what I was talking about to medical school students. See how many still want their doctors attending YouTube University.
I agree with that now. Medical might be the one profession where I want them to do the traditional route.
But to me, I'll tell you, honestly, if somebody has gone through and they have taken the test, you could have somebody that went to medical school that is respected and somebody that just, they learned other ways, or maybe somebody was kind of like tutoring them and helping them out, and they kind of did it on their own. If they do a test and one gets a 95 on it that went to YouTube University, and somebody who went to the accredited on this test gets a 70, give me 95 over 70. I don't care. I mean, if you have to do the operating and all that stuff, I don't care where you studied. I care about what you know. And if you proved on the exact same test that you know more than the person who apparently went to this hoity-toity school, give me that person.
How much of your undergraduate work towards being a doctor involves practical training, though?
I think
that's
years,
the thing.
yeah.
That's the thing that they can't give you.
But do you have to have a university to do that? I mean, couldn't you set up your own individual, like going in and having somebody? I mean, it's
in your garage.
No. It's still the same hospital. Why do I have to be in a real medical school to come in there and kind of still get that real world experience? What if you had an entry-level internship examination that I could take to show that I knew just as much as this person coming in from this hoity-toity school where they spent $45,000 a semester? I can hang, so why can't I come in? Why do I have to come from this accredited university?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I mean, maybe the universities and the teaching hospitals work hand in hand.
I just think what they need to do is they should go down with every hurdle that's up right now. And I'm sure there are many, but say, okay, how do we solve this? How do we make this more affordable? Because you're right, this is asinine.
I hope the bubble bursts. I really, really do, because I want Magnolia to have the college experience. There is something to be said for going away at the age of 18 to a big university and living on campus in the dorms and figuring life out. It's a transitional step from living at home with mom and dad to being out on your own. I savored it. I enjoyed it. I loved everything about living on campus and navigating and figuring everything out. And I just remember being like, wow, this is so cool. I don't want her to miss out on that, but I'm not paying $45,000 a semester for it.
Yeah, it's asinine. That is crazy that you got to pay that kind of money. And, at what age will you finally work it off? I think Barack Obama was like 50 by the time he paid off his student loan, something like that. And he wasn't even in the era that we are now.
Yeah, it seems like it keeps going up and up, like a lot.
It is.
Every time I check on it, I'm like, wait a minute, it wasn't that just a year or two ago.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's unsustainable. And
the bubble needs to burst.
Yeah.
Quickly.
I agree. I don't hate what they do in Israel. In Israel, every kid, like coming out of high school, you got 2 years in the military.
Oh,
regardless.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's if you want to maintain your citizenship, even if you were born in Israel and you have dual citizenship.
What if your kid's a pussy?
Too bad. They don't care.
Whips them into shape.
Yeah. You have got to go and serve. If you want to maintain that citizenship, that's what, when I was there, I guess almost 2 years ago now, I had heard a conversation, somebody's talking about that because a lot of them will have the dual, especially with the U.S. You may be born in Israel, and a lot of people will bounce back and forth if you're Jewish here living in the States. And so if you want to maintain that, you will go back and you will serve your 2 years in the Israeli army. Wow. And if you do not, you will lose your citizenship.
That's crazy.
That's it. Gal Gadot, she served 2 years.
As Wonder Woman. She was in the
full
Wonder Woman
had
outfit.
to wear that outfit every day.
She killed it.
In the Israeli army. Yeah, so you did that. Dr. Ruth, she was a sniper in the Israeli army.
Damn.
She had to serve her 2 years.
Damn, Ruth.
Everybody has to do it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's there. You can't be like going, I've got asthma.
They're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Get your asthma ass in there.
They are like, you're doing 2 years. They do not give a rat's ass.
Interesting.
If you want to maintain your citizenship, everybody's doing 2 years in the military. And you talk about that transition. I think that it does knock, a lot of people around. So there you go. Wendy said, Kev, you know nothing about medical school. Absolutely true. I have one daughter in medical school and another one going in next year. It has to be an accredited medical school. You're really sounding uneducated about your comments on medical schools. Never said I knew anything about medical schools, but I believe that they're going to be a better system to education.
He's just trying to figure it all out and maybe not have kids paying so much in student loans for so many years. It just doesn't feel fair.
Absolutely.
For what they stand to make versus what they pay for that education, it's just kind of lopsided.
Admittedly, I don't know, but it does seem like there's enough people to say something that you should look at it and say it feels a little scammy. What can we do to try to fix it and make it a little bit easier for more people to get involved and do it? So just my thoughts on it. But you're right. Very true, Wendy.
And you suck at radio.
And very often, if you listen to the show, you will be like, wow, they sound really uneducated.
But you know what? We're curious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, to me, I feel like there is a better way. And I think a lot of times I'm a big fan of sometimes you start from scratch and you say, okay, let's rebuild this. If we didn't have all these
fat cats,
well, and just all these stupid things that sometimes we do things not because it's right, it's just because we've always done it that way. If we started from scratch and rebuilt the American educational system, even of higher learning, how would you build it now? Saying, let's tear it all down and let's look at how you would rebuild it and say, why couldn't we do it that way? That's basically the whole point.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm in favor because I got a kid staring down being in college soon, and I do not have $45,000 a semester.
It's pretty insane. Absolutely.
That bitch is going to go right to the bank and have to get 8 loans. Mm-hmm. Don't look at me.
Absolutely. So there you go. All right. Anything else you would like to throw into our conversations? You always can. All you have to do is just send us an email, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. Bird going to go get his test in about an hour from now. So he said he's going to be doing a Facebook Live. You can check that out and see how he tests, positive or negative for the COVID. That's why he's not in here today. Hopefully back tomorrow with a negative test.
Yeah, I think he will be because he said he's already feeling better today. And, you know, the COVID usually grabs you for more than 24 hours.
Yeah, and all he did was just feel run down. That was really the only symptom that he had, I think.
Right.
What I heard.
Dizzy, yeah. Diarrhea, lots of diarrhea. Yeah, I mean, he'd just been shitting everywhere.
Wow. That's a rough one then. All right, here's something to keep locked in for today. The KVJ Workday Grocery Giveaway. Congrats to Rafael Ramirez of Pompano Beach. At 9 o'clock, you picked up $200 worth of free groceries. I'd love for you to do it, too. Just go register at WRMF.com. Listen at 2 p.m. today, 5 p.m., and then again with us tomorrow at 9 a.m., courtesy of Scott Smith Injury Law. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.